I got a lot of questions that are not clear around the review I made about the FCC Hack from Drone Tweaks. So I made a recompiled version of the video, including a lot more details that will hopefully help clear things up. How to fix bad range on your DJI Mini 3 Pro with the DJI RC. You could basically switch your CE drone into FCC mode if you run into range issues flying in Wi-Fi polluted areas. The reason why this fixes bad range is because the broadcasting power that is allowed under the FCC is much higher than under CE. So when the guy behind Drone Tweaks reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to test his solution, of course I said yes, as I wanted to test if it is as easy as he claims to enable it. So if we take a look at the website, you would see that the drones that are supported is actually the full range from DJI, from the Mini 4 Pro, Mini 3 Pro, Mini 3, Mavic 3, and Air 3, Avata, Mavic 3 Classic, Air 2S, Mavic 3 Pro, SE, DJI FPV, and the Mini 2. So that's actually the full range of drones. It works with the standard controller, but now also with the smart controller, which is very, very exciting, as many of you have reported the unstable connection between the first version of the smart controller and drones like the DJI Mini 3 Pro. And in case that you want to test it out yourself, the Drone Tweaks have provided me with a link that I'll be sharing in the description below, so you can pick up your own FCC mod and test it out for yourself. It's not yet available for all phones supporting Android 14. Some will work and some will not. And you know, the coolest part is that it does not only work with the standard controller, it does also work with the DJI RC and also the RC2. If you want better coverage of all the devices and controllers, use the smart controller together with the Android devices and the standard controller together with the iOS. Further, you can see 3 products have been offered. There's an FCC mod for the DJI Fly App for iOS. There is a FCC mod for the DJI Fly App for Android, and there's a FCC Air Sense mod for DJI Air 2S for iOS. What it's all about is these two, the one for iOS and the one for Android. And you only need to buy one license and you can apply it to all your drones. But you do have to decide whether it's iOS or Android. And in this video, I will demonstrate it for iOS. Once you get everything installed, the procedure is exactly the same. So how does it actually work? Yeah, it works in a way that you need to get a separate app that's called FCC DJI Fly App. And according to Drone Tweaks, this is a modified version of the official app. You would use exactly the same way you use the official app. You will log in with the same DJI account, but you will always remain in FCC mode. So this is the reason why I have 2 apps installed here. The official DJI Fly App and the modified version from Drone Tweaks. To be able to get that onto your smartphone, the process is a little bit more cumbersome than if you're using Android. You should basically get hold of the UUID of the iOS device, and that needs to be sent back to Drone Tweaks. So why is a UUID even required? That is because you are going to install an application that's not available through the App Store. And to be able to do that and to be able to run it on your iOS device, you need the app to be signed with a valid developer certificate. This is done by them adding your unique identifier to their Apple developer account, and thereby signing the app, allowing it to run on your device. So let's see if I can explain the process so it's easy to follow along. So if you go in on, I think it's easier for you to do it directly on your phone. So if you're going to the Drone Tweaks website, you see the first thing that you need to do is you need to select what drone that you're going to use it for. And in this case, we are selecting the Mini 3 Pro. Just for an example, I could have chosen any of the other ones. And you can see here there are 2 mods available. There's one for iOS and there's one for Android. So if we just select that, we will get into where you can sort of purchase this mod. And there's of course a link in the description below in case that you want to do this by yourself. To get this going, you need to go under the 3 dots or the 3 burger bars in the upper right corner of the menu, and then you need to take the point that's getting the UUID. And when you're on this page, there's actually quite a good description of how the process is done. I will just show you what it looks like when you're performing it, so you know exactly what to do. So the first step that you need to do is open one of the tools below in the Safari on your iOS device for an automatic UUID finder. And because I'm actually default using Google's Chrome browser, so I basically need to copy the link and go to Safari and paste it in there. So I highlight the link and I press copy link. Then I will go out to the main screen of the phone, and then I will find Safari. I will launch that, and then I will paste in the website that I just copied, or the tool that I just copied. And make sure that you don't use private mode on Safari to do this. Then press the little AAA here in the corner of the search bar, and then press website settings. And make sure that request desktop website is turned off. Then we press done. Then refresh the page. And then you press get the UUID now. And then to let the UUID tech know your device UUID, you have to download the profile. We do not collect or share your personal information. So we press download here. The website is trying to download a configuration profile. Do you want to allow this? Then we press allow. Then it says profile downloaded. Review the profile in the settings app if you want to install it. Then we need to go to the iOS settings. Then tap the profile downloaded and install the temporary profile service. Then we need to type in the pin code here and press install. So now you have the UUID here on the screen. You just highlight it and copy it. And within 24 hours sending your UUID to DroneTweaks, you would get an email from them confirming the further instructions how to download and install the app. So this email also contains some DroneTweaks credentials that is specific for the device where you have provided the UUID. And of course you need to keep those confidential and not share them. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to install the app. And we do that by pressing the link in the email. And then the installation process will more or less take care of itself. You do need to be careful about all these commercials that are being plugged into this installer, so you make sure that you install the right version. So what you want to go for is the point that's called install the latest app, and that will install a version of 1.12.8. If I press install. So once I've said install, we should see an app somewhere here being installed, and I have a ton of apps here. So let's just move this one to a location where we can monitor the progress like this. So you can see now it's just waiting, and it will start installing shortly. After a bit of waiting, the installation process will start. Now the installation has been completed, and you can see there are 2 apps now present, the official DJI Fly App and the FCC version from DroneTweaks, both installed at the same time. Because we are running iOS 16 or higher, we need to enable developer mode to be able to run this application. But don't worry, it sounds a little bit complicated, all of it, but just follow the steps that I show you here, and you only need to do this once. Once the app is installed, you can use it freely afterwards and won't have to go through all this trouble all the time. And the way that we do that is that we need to go under settings, and we need to scroll down to the section that's called privacy and security. And then we go to the bottom of that one. There's an option that's called developer mode, and that one is currently set to off, and we would have to switch that one to on. And when we switch it, it will come up and it will ask you to restart your device. And the phone automatically shuts off. So let's reboot it. And now when the phone boots, I can't start the screen recorder right now, you'll be prompted with this dialog saying, turn on developer mode. Developer mode allows you to use features that are required for app development when developer mode is turned on, your device security will be reduced. So I press turn on, and then I'm typing in my password. So now we're in here and we can launch the FCC app from DroneTweaks for the first time. And what will happen here is that the app will start exactly like I can turn around like this. The app will start exactly like you're used to, and you're being asked to accept all the usual stuff when you launch the application. If you like to use Bluetooth, yes, allow full access to library here, next, and not now any developer program. So you can see when the installation has been completed, you have an app that's exactly like the official DJI app. And you should also log into the app using your normal DJI credentials. So once you have done that, you should kill the app completely. And then when you launch the app for the second time, you will be prompted with a dialog asking you to type in your DroneTweak credentials, the ones that you got in the email from before. So if I type in those and make sure to pay attention to the caps, it will say log in successfully. Thank you for logging in. Your license will expire in 233 days. You can now restart the app and start using the app normally. So if I press restart here, it will relaunch the app. And it's actually quite funny because this one can run in portrait mode. The default app can't do that. So right now, every time that you launch it, you will be prompted with this dialog, FCC mode enabled, fly with caution. By using this application, you acknowledge that you receive special permission to increase transmission power and assume full liability for any potential legal ramifications. So this is important that you understand this part, because it's actually not legal to switch your drone into FCC mode in CE territories. So please consider information in this video as educational. So I just press OK, and then you're basically ready to go. So every time you launch the DJI FCC app, the drone will basically be forced into FCC mode. If you're using the old RC remote, where the phone goes on top of the remote. If we're going to use the DJI RC in FCC mode, there are a few steps that we need to do involving the phone before we can switch it into FCC mode. This operation needs to be repeated before every flight. So now let's go outside and see if we can flick it into FCC mode. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to launch the app. So right now that is launched and we are saying OK. And then that needs to run in the background. So right now we need to wait for the home point to update. So now the home point is updated. So just land it again. So now the home point is updated. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to start the official app, and then we need to start the quick transfer mode on the regular app from DJI. So now it's trying to connect. I'm saying join. So it's trying to connect. So yes, and then we're switching to the FCC app. So now you see that now it's switched away here on this side. And it's actually enabling the FCC app on the other device. Then I just need to exit quick transfer, exit, like this. And if we jump in under the transmission tab, you would see that it changed. Did you see it changed? So now the drone is in FCC mode. And if I take away the phone and reboot everything, go under the three dots, transmission, you see that it's back in CE mode. Now you got a demonstration that it works. It's actually pretty easy to switch the drone in and out of FCC mode using the mod from DroneTweaks. And if you want to test this out by yourself, then there is a purchase link in the description below. So why would you use DroneTweaks? If we look at the FAQ section, the argument is, first and foremost, there are no changes to the drone itself. This means no risk of affecting the drone's firmware or flight controller, no risk of losing the care refresh insurance. Third-party apps do not invalidate the care refresh like modifying the drone's firmware does. So that's of course a very, very important point, that this is a separate app that you are installing that makes the change, and in this way you're not touching the firmware that's actually running on the drone. New as well as the goggle promising song, which was not particularly a strong. Okay. Additionally, and to be quite transparent, I would be okay. And I would constantly fear. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give it a like. If you did like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around.